The question is not, what if I am rejected again? The question is, where within myself am I rejecting me? So the question is not, what if I am rejected again? The question is, where within myself am I still rejecting me? There's a lot coming through about a rejection wound. And I think whoever this is for, this wound, you've actually processed and dealt with a lot of the deeper parts of this wound, I'm hearing, in the last 4 months. And I think when you originally, this wound started coming up for you and you were starting to process it, it was a fear. It was like quite a very heightened fear. And what I'm almost seeing, I'm seeing scales, and it's almost like those scales are starting to balance out now. I think for a really long time there was this fear of rejection, and now it's, the energy has shifted as you've done a lot of this work, and it's shifted into the space of like this nervousness, this, it's like I'm hearing mild anxiety, rather than a deep-rooted fear. I have a feeling that this is to do with a connection that you are in. You know this person. I think a lot of what this message is about today is that you've been through a massive awakening within yourself. And having met this person as a catalyst for that, connecting deeper spiritually is what I'm hearing. This person was a catalyst for you. I feel the sense that I'm picking up more on masculine energy. Now, when it comes to channel messages and or readings, it's not about gender. So you could identify as female, but you could hold more masculine energy. You could identify as male, you'll hold more masculine energy. It's not about gender, it's about the energy. This could also be in relation to where the wound sits within your energetic state. So the rejection wound could sit more in your masculine energy. Something about the need to look back in your generational line. If you look back in your male line and or talk to the males in your line or connect deeper with the males in your line, you might see a resemblance of that rejection having been continuous throughout the many generations. I'm hearing 6 generations. So this could go as far back as 6 generations for you. But there is a connection that you are deeply, it's like deeply rooted. This connection is deeply rooted, which is why it was a massive catalyst for everything you've experienced recently. Since the start, that might make sense to someone. Since the start, 1, 2, 3. The numbers 1, 2, 3 are significant. That could be confirmation. You may see 1, 2, 3 as confirmation of this for you. Delusion. Delusion has been a massive part of this journey that you've been on for yourself. I'm hearing no way. There's no way. There's no way. I kind of get the sense that since the start, or right from the start, you had that feeling, that energy of no way. This can't be real. This can't be true. So there was a lot of delusion created right from the get-go in regards to this connection. It was almost like too good to be true. That's the energy that's coming through. So it was almost too good to be true. And I think it took you a really long time to come to terms with the fact that regardless of what was kind of going on in the headspace, that the deep-rooted spiritual connection that you have with this person still remains. I'm getting runner energy. And don't take that in a negative light. But I'm getting runner energy, like this could have catalyzed you into an awakening. And within that, it caused you to run. But I think what I'm getting is the energy is you've always run. But I think in this circumstance, you didn't run because you didn't care. I'm hearing you didn't run because you didn't care about the feminine energy that you were connected to. You didn't run because you didn't feel the love with this feminine energy. I think you ran because you cared too much. I think you ran because you felt the love and how deep and intense it was. And a part of that scared you, which is where that fear came from. Originally, is where that fear came from. I think you feared that you were the only one that felt that way. I think you feared that the love you felt was too good to be true. That a part of you has struggled to come to terms with and believe that it was possible for you to experience a love like this. You've been through a lot in regards to your self-worth. 6 months is significant. Over the past 6 months, you've been dealing with a lot in regards to your self-worth. Am I worthy of this? Am I worthy of this feminine? Am I worthy of the energy that this feminine brings? Am I worthy of rising to meet this feminine in her energy? The fact that you want to rise says a lot about your character. The fact you want to meet the feminine energy in her, I'm assuming she's probably in her natural state, which is why you're saying you want to rise. Are you worthy to rise? The fact you want to rise, the fact that the idea and the thought and the just that thought is even sitting within your heart says a lot about your character. Give yourself credit for that. Because it means that you're considering, or actually they told me to correct that, you considered, I'm hearing way back when, maybe it could have been at that 6 months, still significant. 6 months ago, maybe around that time, you could have been considering your worth to rise, to meet that feminine energy as she deserves. But also, I think at first when you had this realization, it came from this place of like rising to meet her for what she deserved. And as you've moved through a lot of your self-worth woundings, you've realized, actually, I'm also doing this for myself. I'm also doing this for myself because I deserve to do this for myself. And I think you're in this place of readiness right now. Like, I'm getting this feeling of like readiness, like I'm hearing like a car like that's like revving its engine, and it's almost like you're ready to redline it. Redlining it might be insignificant. You might be into cars. I'm hearing motorbikes. But like you're sitting there and it's almost like you're revving the engine, you're like ready to go, the wheels are burning out at the back and you're ready to just like floor it. But there's this nervousness. But it's not fear anymore, because you've done a lot of work, and you also need to give yourself credit for that. You've done a lot of work in regards to that. And be proud of yourself for that. I think originally a lot of the healing that you were doing was potentially to prove yourself. And then along the way, and as you've developed and you've grown, I'm hearing spiritually specifically, connecting deeper with your intuition, you have realized that just went super silent all of a sudden. You have realized that You don't need to prove yourself to anyone else, and that it is okay to do this work for you. Some very yummy energy. Being asked to pull, yeah, intuition. Sitting on the bottom along with wounds and wisdoms. So daisies could be significant. I'm hearing that song. I'm in a field of dandelions. Why did that come through when I said daisies? I don't know. That'll make sense to you. I had known everyone that you would be mine. Mine. Butterflies are significant. Moths are significant. Pairing moth to a flame. That might be how you feel. Like drawn to this feminine energy. Wounds to wisdom. So basically a lot of what it is that you've experienced. I keep hearing 6 months. 6 months is significant. What are we in now? We're in February, January, December, November, October, September, October? Significant. Something could have shifted for you in October last year. September, October last year. And yeah, transformation. Butterfly, super significant. Metamorphosis. Ooh, that is such a, that's some seriously strong. That replicates the vision that just came through. So what they were showing me was like almost like the evolution of a butterfly. So it's like a caterpillar, and then it goes into its chrysalis, and then when it's in its chrysalis, it's like blooming and transforming, and then it's, I don't know why I was about to say sprout, but sprouting might be significant for you. And then it comes out of its little chrysalis or its cocoon, and then it transforms into a butterfly. I feel like in this stage where you were going almost through like this caterpillar phase, is like you were slowly moving through this awakening. Like slowly moving through this awakening. I'm hearing before October, so it would have happened before that, before October last year. Then it's almost like October hit, everything shifted, something changed, the energy shifted, and it's like it catapulted you forward. You went, I'm getting this like image of somebody just like, I'm also almost like seeing like a magician who's just like, and then they like disappear. You could have gone ghost. You could have ghosted this feminine. And like I said, it wasn't from a place of not caring, not feeling the love. It was because you did care, and you cared too much, and you loved too much, or you felt like you loved too much, or you felt too deep, and you didn't want to scare her. You didn't want to scare her. And also, I get this sense of like, I'm hearing like, I need to go ghost. I need to disappear before I destroy you too. Abandonment. Spiritual crisis. So that around October, I think that's when you got fully catapulted into this awakening for yourself. I'm hearing instant regret. So whether you did ghost this feminine, or whether you did decide to walk away from the connection at that point in that stage, something about speech, truth coming out. I'm hearing instant regret. So whatever happened at that time, whether you pulled away, whether you withdrew your energy, whether you went ghost and you just disappeared because you weren't certain what was happening. I'm hearing what was happening, what was going on, and or what to do. You instantly regretted what you did. And that is where the nervousness comes from now, because I think now you're ready. I think you're ready now, and this nervousness, it's not fear. Remember that, it's not fear. It's not fear of rejection, it's this nervousness to step forward. And I think that that's why. It's because a part of you, there's this uncertainty. You've got this certainty on going towards this feminine energy. You've got the certainty of going towards this feminine energy. I'm asking to pull from this deck. You've got the certainty to go towards this feminine energy, but you have this uncertainty on how to go about it. You've got this uncertainty on how to actually go about that energy within yourself and how to actually move. Yeah, there's this uncertainty on how to go about moving in the direction of this feminine. With the moon, this all... Oh, wow, this is powerful. With the moon and the wounded card, along with the deep knowledge, is, I think, in this period where you were awakening and going through this transformation for yourself, is the moon illuminated a lot of where your wounding was. And I think, I'm getting the sense like you and this feminine mirror each other. Ooh, that fell on the floor. Where did you go? 2 seconds. Bound was what fell on the floor. Yeah, I get the scent. Her scent might be significant to you. You might have, her scent might be significant to you. This is the Lover's card in this deck. I take this as the Lover's card in this deck. Her scent might be significant to you. But I feel like you two mirror each other. You mirror each other. This is giving me red string theory. It's giving me red string theory. So I think this feminine energy was a catalyst for you, and she mirrored a lot of where your deep-rooted woundings were. I would say you probably did the same thing for her. I just heard if you haven't spoken. I don't think you have. I don't think you've spoken in a really long time, or been in each other's energy in a really long time. Observer. You could be observing this feminine right now. Yeah. Okay, I think you could be observing this feminine right now, and you could be observing her in this like really pure energy of like, she's found this new sense of self within herself, and I feel like you're observing her in this energy. You're observing her quite closely in her sovereignty, And I think it confused you for a really long time. I think it confused you for a really long time. Her sovereignty confused you for a really long time. Stand alone. I think you are a bit of a lone wolf. I think you've walked a lot of life alone, and you came, before you met this feminine, you were kind of in the state where you're like, you know what, I'm okay. If I walk this life alone, like, I'm okay with it. Like, it doesn't faze me kind of energy. And then you met her and you were like, actually, maybe I'm not okay to walk this life alone. Back out again with the Lovers. There is a lot of deep desire in this connection, a lot of pure intimacy, like the intimacy is really pure, and you know that it's genuine because you don't have to touch for it to be felt. This is the kind of intimacy that can be like suffocating to others, like in good ways, but like is suffocating to others that are within the vicinity of you both. It can be intense and feel suffocating in that way. Hearing one more. Wounded came out again with a pause on the bottom. think there was a moment where I'm hearing a sacred pause in this connection, so that you could both process. Yeah, so you could both process and deal with the versions of yourselves that you have. I actually don't get the sense that either of you have ever been scared to go deep in yourselves, because I think you're both there's a lot of depth to both of you. But this pause happened almost so that you could both be built, both process your wounds, so that you come together in a pure sense of love. So you come together in a pure sense of love, not destruction. Instead of destroying together each other and coming together, and ruining the beauty that it could be because of your traumas, you separated. There was a sacred pause between the two of you, so that you could process all you needed to process alone, individually, but so both of you could really come to terms with the fact that you could do those things on your own. And that's what built this newfound sense of self within both of you. So that when it comes together from that genuine space of unconditional love. A space of unconditional love rather than destruction, because of the wounds you've experienced. You've both experienced a lot. And I think you know this about the feminine, but I don't think the feminine, I think you feel like the feminine doesn't know that about you. I have a feeling she does. Maybe not to the full extent, but I think a part of her does know or have a feeling about some of the things you've experienced in your life. I was about to say, this feminine holds a really special place for you. Like, this feminine holds a really special place for you, but it's not like she doesn't hold this special place for you in a space of waiting. She holds this space for you in the sense of gratitude, of love, unconditional love for what she experienced with you, for the journey she walked having met you. And she holds that really, really special place for you in her heart, but has also, I get the sense of like, has surrendered to that it is what it is. She's not in a state of waiting. She's in this like state of like cultivating life for herself. And I essentially feel like she's just surrendered to what is, in such a way and with such grace, that she just has this deep inner knowing that when somebody is meant to join her in her path, and when she's meant to join someone in their path, that it will happen right on time. I feel like this love, I feel like this is going off a bit of a reading I did the other day, but this is way more intense. I feel like this love is going to be a bit of a lighthouse to those that encounter it. This love is going to be a lighthouse to those that have encountered it. It's really interesting that it brought through, yeah, I think this is the first love that you are both going to experience where the give and receive is reciprocated and it's balanced. I don't think either of you have experienced that, and I think it's going to be deeply rooted in what you establish together. Is this even, balanced state of give and receive. I feel like both of you are givers. I feel like you both are massive givers, and you've had to learn to balance that out a little bit more, like allowing yourself to also receive. This is really good energy. Water. You might be a water sign. You might be a water sign. It's just sitting on the bottom. I'm hearing the end of an awakening. Oh shit, I'm hearing the end of an awakening. It's sitting at the bottom of the deck, and it kind of triggered the feeling that it's like that, it's almost like the end of an awakening. Wow. That resonates with me so hard, and that's also so friggin' powerful. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yup. Okay. There's this need in regards to the rejection, that nervousness around the rejection. Is there's a need for you to go deeper into yourself and ask yourself the question, where in myself am I still rejecting myself as to why I'm feeling this nervousness? Don't ask yourself the question, what if I'm rejected again? What if she rejects me again? What if I'm rejected from... I'm hearing being allowed back in her space. Wow. Being allowed back in her space, back in her energy. Shift it. Shift the perspective and ask yourself, where within myself am I still rejecting myself? Go deeper into that. Dive deeper into that part of the wound. We're still shedding at the moment. And this last little bit of snake energy, this shedding energy that's happening within the collective right now, could be very intense. But I'm hearing it's the last shedding. It's the last shedding, and it could be more brutal. I feel like it's going to be quick though. It's going to be brutal but quick. This is where the nervousness comes from. Other than you needing to dive deeper into the rejection wound itself to clear out those last little, I'm hearing remnants. Remnants. It's remnants, right? Remember that. It's remnants because that's significant. It's the remnants, the residue. Residue significant. It's the residue or the remnants, last remaining parts of that rejection wound that needs to be shed and cleared out. In order for you to step forward full force in this vulnerability. These butterflies at the top, this is the vision that they were showing me. Kind of, but there was also caterpillars in it. But like the evolution of a butterfly. When you find that place within yourself where you get to this space in the depth of where you are still rejecting yourself within, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. I don't know why, but this card is kind of giving me the feeling like forgive yourself so that you can offer yourself to the world in the way that you deserve, in the light that you deserve, in the love that you deserve. Yeah. When you realize what it is that you are still rejecting within yourself, witness it. Allow yourself to witness it. It's all our traumas, our wounds, and our pains, and our fears, and the deep-rooted things that we are still processing. All they ask for is to be witnessed, to be felt, and then to be released. It's past energy. Alright, I'm going to leave that there. Move with peace in the chaos of this life. Be kind to yourself. Always be so kind, and as always, much love.